Here we go. Part 2 of Persius Flaccus. Might underline that just for the hell of it. Okay, reliquit Kirka HS, which are Sestertes Vicans. So this Kirka's around, so we left around 2 million sesterces. We have a dative and a dative. Matre and Sorai to his mother and sister. Scriptis, this is letters. Tantum melior only. Ad matrim to his mother. Codicillus. Scriptus codicillus, these are letters or writings only for his mother. So he left 2 million sesterces to his mother and sister, but melior only these written letters for his mother. Cornatu be Cornatus Rogovit. So he asked, ought that Daret be given, and this would be dative to Cornatus, who we saw yesterday, sestertia, which if you look in your dictionary or something, that's like 1,000 sesterces or something. Ut as quidam dicunt, as certain people say. C means 100,000 sesterces. Ut ali, as others say, L, which is 50,000 sesterces. And agantai facti. Facti is a past passive participle. This is silver, pondo virginti. So this is 20 pounds of silver which has been made or shaped. Et libros, which are books, around Septingentos 700. Chrysippus, this is a genitive of Chrysippus, sieve, or Bibliothecam suemum, or all these library. Okay, so he asked that this guy be given 100,000 or 50,000 sesterces, depending on who you believe, and 20 pounds of manufactured silver, and around 700 books of Chrysippus, or all these library. Okay, virum, but a cornatus sublatus libris. So this is a ablative absolute. So by cornatus, the books were taken away, they were sublatus. The pecunia, which is money, to the soribusses, the sisters. And there's some dispute whether he only had one sister. Quos, which is the relative of plural female. Frata, so the brother had made his sororibusses, his sisters, the heirs, the hereds, relicta est. So he left this money to his sisters, relicta est, this pecunia. And this guy who was given left the money as an heir, he let the sisters have it. Scriptidavit, he wrote et raro et tarde, both rarely and slowly. Hunc ipself librum, this book itself, reliquit, he left imperfectum. As you know what the imperfect is, incomplete. These are 6 satires for which this life was used as an introduction, according to a footnote in the Loeb. Versus aliqui. Versus is a fourth declension, so its plural is also versus. So some verses, dempti sunt, were taken from, ultimo libro, taken from the ablative, from the last book, ut quasi, as if, quasi as if sort of thing, finis esse, as if it had been finished. So this book itself was left incomplete, but they've taken some verses from this last book as if it had been finished. Levita, so lightly, correxit cornutus, corrected this lightly, made slight adjustments, and queso passo patenti, that's a singular present participle dative, so it was given to Cassius Basso, who was seeking it, ut ipself ederet, so that he himself could eder it, he could publish it. So cornutus traded it, he handed it to him who was seeking it. And then we have the gerund, we have ederent, the simple way, and then edendum for publishing it in the gerund way. Scriptstrat versus scriptidavit up here. He had written in puritia in his boyhood. Flaccus is the nominative. Flaccus had written in his boyhood even a pretext, it's like a preface, and a hodioporikon, which looks Greek, Librum Unum, one book, a hodioporin, which is an itinerary of places he's gone, and porkos in socrum thresria versus. So as we said, versus is a fourth declension, that's why it agrees with porkos in the accusative plural, and a few verses on this relation here of Thrasea. What do we call her? Thrasea, who was the older area. So it was the sacrum, the mother-in-law. Quae, which, say herself, anti-verum for a man occuderat. So she reflexively had killed, say, herself before her husband. Vir can mean a man or a husband. Okay, it's not the Daily Dictionary word, but it's just itinerary. In the adjective, it would be itinerarius. A noun would be an itinerarium or a hodoporicon, or limes, which are used for footpaths, etc. Back to the plot. Where were we? Omnia, all these. Cornutus was the author, he was behind it, that Eos, this is the Persius's mother, it looks dative to her, that she aboleret, that she abolish these librums, these books. Editum librum, this is in the tum family here of adjectives, past passive, some supines. So the book was produced continuo. So continuously means pretty much immediately in a continuous action of time. Homines, men, coeperunt, which takes it, men began to admire and to diriparate, to snatch it up. Decessit autem, so however or moreover, there's more information. He decessit, he was deceased, he died, vitio stomachi, with a fault of his stomach or in some sort of malady of his stomach, Enno 30, in his 30th year of age. Said Mox, but soon, ut as a scholam magistris qui diverted, as he diverted or he turned off from his school, and we have plural magisters, which are teachers. Lecto lucili libro decimo, we've got a ablative absolute with a lucili is a genitive. So, lecto means having read, singular book, the 10th one, decimo. Having read the 10th book of Lucilius or something, vehemently, we've got an adverb, vehemently, saturas, these are satires. His verb stood with it. He was zealous to study, vehemently, he was studious to componere satires after he'd read this 10th volume of Lucilius's book. Quis, the genitive of this libri principium. So the beginning of this book, imitatus est. So he wanted to imitate in the beginning of this book, sibi for himself, primo in the first place, something to himself, and soon detracturus. Here's a verb, it's a future, the second type of verb. So you have bobius bits, the first type. Soon. So in the first place, he wanted to detract towards himself or make some reproach himself, but then soon to omnibus, to every work he was detracting of. Cum tanta, with such resentium poetarum and oratorum, we have some genitives there, insectation. So tanta, insectation, this is can be reproaching or hotly pursuing, with such criticism of the recent, these would be the ones probably still alive even, of recent poets and orators, so that ut etiam, even Nero nem principum, and this is Nero the emperor, Ilius temporis, in culpa verit. So he was blaming him or complaining maybe, who was principum Ilius of that time. So Nero was the emperor of that time. So he started off detracting himself, and then soon everybody, and then all these poets and orators, and even the emperor himself. I've set up the Daily Dictionary word. Here's from the list all words download. Insector, deponent, to criticise, taunt, slander, attack, pursue hostilely, or chase. There's also in the sector family, sector, consector, asector. And from the online latindictionary.net, pursue with hostile intent, pursue with hostile speech. In top 20,000 of the words. Where were we? Quis, of these verses in Nero and in the accusative, so that means towards or against him. These verses are against Nero. Cum ita haberit se, they have it in themselves, ita thus or so, they went such as this. Auriculas, which is a diminutive, little ears. Asinai, of an ass, which is a donkey. Meta rex habet. King Midas has the ears of a donkey. In eum modum, so in this way, by cornatu, this is the guy who was left it in his will, ipso tantum nomine mutato est emendatus. So, tantum, merely or only, with a mutatio of the name, changing the name and amending it, so that oraculus asini quis non habet. So who, quis, does not have the little ears of a donkey. So ne hoc in se Nero. So Nero would not arbitrarentor, which is the subjective imperfect, he would not think that this dictum, this was said, in se, against him. Again, in with the accusative. And we've got some more today. Vita Tibuli, life of Tibullus. Te quoque, you also. Comitem to Virgilus, companion, someone who accompanies him to Virgilus. Tibullus, this is the vocative. These US's going to E, so you also Tibullus, companion to Virgil. Non equa mors, which is the female equa. So someone who's not fair. Death is not fair. Misset has sent you, Tibullus, a young man, to the ad Elysian's camp, to the Elysian fields. Nay, for it. So the not should be, ought either. Elegus moles, these are like soft elegies. Elegus, it comes only in a plural form usually. Not that there should be qui who, amores, lovers, qui who would fliret, or would cry, and use soft elegies. Would be moles and mores probably goes together, and this would be ablative or something. Or Keneret, who would sing forti ped. Peds are like some sort of meter that you use in poetry. A brave poetic meter or something. Regia bella, this is royal wars. So something like that. And it's obviously, I think it's a quote from Domitus Marsus, which starts it off. Albius Tibullus, eques Romanus, a Roman knight, in apposition, insignis forma cultuque corporis observabilis. So his form and his cultu, this could be his bearing or his ways of living. So his forma corporis, the shape of his body and of his the way he was. Observabilis, this could be seen. You can see this probably means how renowned and famous he was. Anti-alias, before others, Corvinum Massalam Orata Delexit. So he delighted in him, or he loved before others this guy here who was an orator, of whose even contubinalis, someone lived in a tent with him, technically. Con, you have condisciples and conservices and all that, just means together. In the ablative here, in the Aquitanico bello, in some war, militaribus donis donatus est. So he was given donatus est, military gifts or some sort of honours or something. Hic hoc hac, he, multorum judico, in the judgment multorum of many people, principum inter elegiographes, these are graphos, probably means Greek, means writing something, and elegies, obtinat locum. So he obtained the principum locum, the first place amongst the writers of elegies, in the judgment multorum of many people. Epistolae plural, quoque eos amatoria. So also his amatoria epistles, his love letters, quam breves, although they are brave, omnino utile sunt. They are altogether useful. So there you go, another short sentence. Coming in under 15 minutes today. Obit adolescens, he died a young man, ut indicate, as indicated, superscriptum, in the script written above, or epigramma scriptum. So there was a epigram. That's it for the day.